They say King Von Paws got popped. Check that out.
People know about King Von, but not a lot of people know about his father, Walter Silk Bennett. Before Von became one of the biggest names in drill music, his dad was already a well-known figure in the streets of Chicago. In this video, we're going to break down who Silk really was, his reputation in the city, how he influenced Von, and the truth behind his death. Who was Silk? Now, Walter E. Bennett, aka Silk, also known as King Von's biological,
He look just like him.
born on October 28, 1974, also known as King Von's biological father, was born on October 28, 1974, and was killed July 31, 2005, when King Von was only 11 years old. Everybody that was a resident over there considered Silk to be the most powerful and influential person of that area, not to mention the richest person of that time in that area as well. Now, most people speculate that it was from drugs, not scamming, not robbing, not rapping, none of that. Silk was strictly a big-time drug dealer, where he was from, and that allegedly played a part in his death, but we'll get to that later. Silk wasn't just anybody in Chicago. He was a highly respected member of the Black Disciples, specifically from Ada Park. If you know anything about Chicago's gang structure, you know BD history runs deep, and Silk was a major name in that world. He was known for his influence, the way he carried himself, and how people respected him. He had a lot of the same traits King Von would later be known for. People from his era said that Silk was very, very big on respect and loyalty, and was very careful about the people that he hung around. Not that he didn't just hang around anybody neither. Now, you know how they always say that the parents' traits trickle down to
That nigga look just like that nigga.
the child. Realize how many things King Von and his father had in common. They were very, very, so much like a split image of each other. Now, Von's friends also expressed how big he is on loyalty, and we actually seen it when he made his first 100,000 off of rap music, and he went back to the hood and broke it down evenly in between his guys. They don't get no more loyalty than that because he didn't have to do that, man. Like, it is very absurd. Like, it's not common that somebody make their first 100,000 and break it down between the guys. Usually they go buy them over a house. They want to splurge and want to buy cars. They actually want to stunt on the hood. But nah, not this man. He got his first 100,000 from rap, and he took it back to Chicago with his guys, and they split it amongst each other, man. It don't get no realer than that. Now, also, when it comes to friends who could be around Von, Tay Capone, who was once real close to Von, had this to say.
Von was, in 2012, everybody couldn't hang with Von. Like, if you was hanging with Von, you had to accept everything that came with Von. You had to accept that you was gonna be in shootings, accept that it was gonna be that, and you had to be with it, you feel me, with Von, you feel me? And this was a lot of the time, everybody didn't want to hang with him, they couldn't, because you had to be on what he was on. A lot of niggas didn't want to know what Von was on, because Von was like that, you feel me? So niggas that was faking, for sure ain't want to end up somewhere with Von, by themselves, you feel me? Niggas that was soft, really didn't want had nothing to do with this shit, they went back, they weren't trying to kick with Von and stay around him too long, you feel me?
People from Chicago who were around during that time still speak on how Silk moved. He was someone you didn't want to cross, but at the same time, he had that leader-type energy that made people gravitate toward him. Silk's relationship with King Von Von didn't get to spend a lot of time with his dad because Silk was in and out of prison. If you ever listened to Von's interviews, you'd hear him talk about how much he looked up to his dad, even though he wasn't always there. Not to mention, we all knew King Von was a demon, and they say Silk was just as ruthless, if not more. Now, they say Silk was a demon. A lot of people that knew him that actually, you know, instead of just from the outside looking in, the ones that knew him called him Little Silk. And I'm gonna tell you why I brought up his height, right? Because I got this thing with short people. I feel that a lot of people have the Napoleon complex. You know, people that are short, and they may go 10 times as harder for situations because they like small, like they short, and they feel that they got something to prove because people pick on it. Whereas it's something that you might walk away from, but they take it to the furthest extent because, like I said, they got something to prove. Like, they might just shoot you for saying the wrong joke or something.
If a man really hated
Hey, this nigga with this AI voice trying to make the make the nigga make sense. Get it? Got a short complex.
I mean, that's really how it gets. I'm telling you, I've seen it not to extent where somebody gets shot, but where a situation escalate, and they really don't have to, but the person, felt like he was bothering him because he was smaller. It goes like that, man. But him being a demon, I think judging from King Von and seeing how King Von carried himself and how he was described amongst his peers, I wouldn't put it past Silk being that type of person that people say he was, that demon, that ruthless dude, that very well-fed and respected man. Because like I said, the way King Von carried himself, he had to get him somewhere. And not to mention, like I said, he carried his father's traits. So it is what it is. Now, even though they shared a lot of traits, Silk wasn't around King Von as much, unfortunately, and a couple things played a part in that. You may see pictures with him and King Von, and even pictures with him and King Von's sisters. But believe it or not, Silk wasn't around much. Now, before some of y'all think he was a bad father and throw that jacket on him, that really isn't the case in this situation here. The thing was, he was busting his moves in the street, doing what he's doing, And on top of that, he was getting locked up a lot. So jail played a big role. Then in the midst of all that, they say that he didn't have a good relationship with King Von's mother, which is her name is Tanisha, because of his absence. Despite Silk being gone for most of Von's childhood, his name still carried weight in Von's life. People would tell Von stories about how feared and respected his father was, and that left a strong impression on him. You can see how that influence shaped the way Von carried himself and the way he told his own story through music. Even though they weren't always together, Von always spoke about his dad with respect. He knew that Silk was a legend in his own right. Silk's death, killed by a sniper? One of the craziest things about Silk's story is how he died. In 2005, when Von was just 11 years old, Silk was killed. But this wasn't just a regular shooting. Reports say he was taken out by a sniper. Now, there's a lot of speculation about how it happened, but what's known is that it was a targeted hit. If true, this shows how deep the street politics ran, because a sniper-style attack isn't something you see often. It's not some random drive-by. And when you live in like that in the street, it happens. Like, I'm not going to say I don't feel no sympathy, because, God bless everybody that lost their lives. At the end of the day, when you live by that gun, you die by that gun. And that's just it. You know what comes to the streets when you indulge in them streets? It just is what it is. It's, jail or death. So at the end of the day, man, God bless Silk. Rest in peace, Silk. Rest in peace, King Von. God bless their families, man. Other than that, let me know how y'all feel in the comments.
Man, hey, look, man. R.I.P. King Von. R.I.P. that nigga Pop Silk. But nigga, you can't fuck with these YNs out here, man. These YNs out here, these fools got bazookas. They said he got popped by a sniper rifle. Man, stop playing, dude. Niggas got everything and then some, dog. Nigga get shot by a sniper rifle. Bruh, deep, nigga. That's some mafia ties, man. Get popped by a sniper, huh? Rest in peace, King Von, dog. We ain't know shit about his pops for real, Silk. A lot of people did, obviously. But dog, out of here, man. They didn't call the assassins to assassinate this nigga. No, that shit wild.